Most folks are told that if you spot a cockroach in your home, you grab a can of spray, hit it, and the problem is solved. I have watched people follow that advice for years, and the roaches are always back within a week. The spray can is not a solution, it is a delay, and in the meantime, the conditions that drew that cockroach in the first place are still there, untouched, waiting to welcome the next one. I want to be straight with you right from the start. I have spent years paying close attention to how Japanese professional cleaners and careful homeowners actually deal with a cockroach problem. And what I keep coming back to is this. Most of what is sold and marketed to Western households for this problem is either too weak to matter or too harsh to be worth the risk. Bug bombs, foggers, heavy commercial sprays. I have seen all of them used, and I have seen all of them fail. Not because the chemical is wrong, but because the thinking behind them is wrong. You are treating the symptom and leaving the disease alone. The real question, the one nobody selling you a spray can wants you to ask, is not how do I kill this cockroach? It is, why is this cockroach here, and how do I make sure this home never welcomes another one? That shift in thinking is exactly where the Japanese approach begins. By the end of this video, you will know exactly how cockroaches find a home, what they need to survive inside your walls, and the full step-by-step method for doing a genuine extreme clean that takes all of it away. I am going to walk you through the philosophy, the cleaning sequence, the natural deterrents that actually hold up over time, and the maintenance habit that keeps the problem from coming back. This is not a quick tip. This is a complete system. Before we go further, if you want to go deeper than what a single video can cover, open the camera app on your phone right now and point it at the QR code in the top right corner of your screen. It will take you straight to our full guide, which covers the Japanese cleaning mindset, the pantry ingredients that do most of the real work in a home, and the full breakdown of methods like this one done properly. That QR code stays pinned up in the top right corner of the screen for the rest of this video, so you can scan it at any point while you keep watching. No need to stop now. Just know it is there. Let me start with something most people never learn about cockroaches, because understanding this one fact changes everything about how you deal with them. Cockroaches are not looking for a dirty home. I want to say that plainly, because the shame around this topic keeps a lot of folks from dealing with it honestly. Cockroaches are looking for three things: warmth, moisture, and food. That is the complete list. A spotless, well-kept home can have all three of those things in the wrong corners, and a cockroach will find them. The idea that only careless, unclean people get cockroaches is one of the more harmful myths out there, because it causes careful, prideful homeowners to ignore early signs out of embarrassment, rather than acting fast. In my experience, the homes that get repeat cockroach problems are not dirty homes. They are homes where certain specific conditions have been overlooked. A slow drip under the kitchen sink, a gap behind the dishwasher, a stack of grocery bags folded up and stored in a warm corner. Cockroaches are extraordinarily good at finding those small pockets of comfort. They do not need much. A crack the width of a quarter will let a cockroach walk right in. They can survive on almost nothing. A trace of grease behind a stove knob, a crumb under the refrigerator, the residue in a recycling bin. This is why the entire commercial pest control industry is built around repeat visits. If you just treat the cockroach and not the conditions, you are on a subscription plan whether you realize it or not. Now, I want to give some honest credit here. There are situations where a severe infestation genuinely requires professional help, especially in apartment buildings where the problem comes through shared walls. I am not going to pretend otherwise, but for the vast majority of household situations, the Japanese extreme clean method I am about to walk you through is the most effective thing I have ever seen done for this problem, and the core of it costs almost nothing. Here is how the method works, and why the sequence matters. The first phase is what I call the total removal. This is the part that most people skip when they are cleaning for cockroaches, and it is the most important part. You are not cleaning surfaces. You are eliminating every hidden resource in the home. Start in the kitchen, because that is almost always where the problem lives, even if you are seeing cockroaches in other rooms. Pull everything out from under the sink. Everything. Clean the cabinet with hot water and a few drops of dish soap. Get into the corners, dry it completely. Cockroaches are attracted to moisture more reliably than almost anything else, and the space under a kitchen sink is often slightly damp from condensation on pipes. That dampness is a signal. Dry it out and keep it dry. Next, pull the stove away from the wall. I know, it is heavy, but what you find behind most stoves that have been in place for a few years is one of the primary reasons cockroaches return. Grease builds up on the floor behind the stove in a way that is almost invisible until you pull it out. Clean the floor, clean the back wall, clean the sides of the stove itself. Then clean the underside of the stove's drip pans, the burner grates, and, if yours allows it, the drawer at the bottom. That drawer collects crumbs and grease and is almost never cleaned. Do the same for the refrigerator. Pull it out, clean the floor beneath it and behind it. Clean the drip tray at the bottom. Most refrigerators have one, most people have never touched it, and it can hold standing water and food debris for years. Now, the ebook. If you are watching this and thinking you want a more complete breakdown of the Japanese cleaning philosophy behind all of this, the mindset of working with fewer, more powerful ingredients rather than a cabinet full of products, open your phone's camera app and point it at the QR code still sitting in the top right corner of your screen. The guide goes into the cleaning mindset, the 5 pantry ingredients that replace most of what you would spend a lot of money on at the store, and methods like this, done with the full step-by-step detail. It is exactly the kind of deeper resource this video can only point toward. Let me keep moving, because the second phase of this method is where most of the long-term protection comes from. Phase 2 is sealing the home. Japanese professional cleaners do not just clean around a cockroach entry point, they eliminate it. And when you start looking, the number of entry points in a typical home is surprising. Check under every sink cabinet where pipes come through the wall. In most homes, there is a gap around the pipe, sometimes a small one, sometimes a significant one, where the pipe enters the wall. Cockroaches use these gaps constantly. A tube of paintable caulk from any hardware store costs around $2 or $3 and seals those gaps in minutes. If the gap is large, a foam backer rod placed first and then caulked over is even better. Check where the dishwasher connects to the cabinet and the wall. Check the gaps at the back of upper cabinets where they meet the wall. Check the kickboard at the base of your lower cabinets. If it is not flush with the floor, there is often a gap behind it that leads into a cavity that cockroaches can move through across the whole kitchen. Door sweeps matter too. An exterior door with even a small gap at the bottom is an invitation. Door sweep kits are inexpensive and take about 10 minutes to install. The way I see it, sealing your home properly is the single most underrated step in this whole process. It is the difference between treating the problem once and treating it every few months. Phase 3 is the moisture elimination, and I want to spend some real time here because this is the step that people most commonly skip, even after they have done a good clean. Cockroaches need water regularly to survive. Remove their access to water and you shorten their viable window in your home considerably. Go through every room and fix any slow drips, under sinks, behind toilets, at the base of the tub faucet. If you have a dehumidifier, run it in the basement or crawl space during warm months. Check for condensation on pipes in the utility room. Make sure the area around the washing machine is dry after every use. These are small habits, but in my experience, they matter more than almost anything you can spray. Any standing water left in pet bowls overnight, any excess moisture in a bathroom without good ventilation, all of it is usable. Japanese cleaning practice treats moisture management as a daily discipline, not a project. A quick wipe of the sink basin before bed takes 10 seconds. Over weeks and months, it changes the environment of your home in a measurable way. Now, phase 4, the natural deterrents. And here is the place where the cheap, genuinely effective solutions live. The most reliable natural deterrent I have come across is diatomaceous earth, food-grade diatomaceous earth, specifically. It is a fine white powder made from the fossilized remains of tiny aquatic organisms. At a microscopic level, the particles are sharp enough to damage the outer shell of an insect, causing it to dehydrate. To us, it is harmless. You can find food-grade diatomaceous earth at garden centers and hardware stores for just a few dollars a bag. Apply a very thin layer along the back of cabinet interiors, behind the refrigerator, under the stove, and along any baseboard runs near the kitchen. Thin is the key word. A thick layer gets walked around. The goal is a dusting that insects walk through without noticing. Boric acid, used the same way, has a long track record for cockroach control. A small squeeze bottle lets you apply it in precise, thin lines along the backs of cabinets and in wall voids near pipe entry points. Used properly, it is extremely effective and very low toxicity to humans and pets at the concentrations used for pest control. If you have young grandchildren or animals that get into low cabinets, apply it only in places they cannot reach. Behind the refrigerator, inside wall gaps before caulking them. Bay leaves are worth mentioning because they are so simple. Cockroaches genuinely seem to dislike the scent. A few dried bay leaves placed inside cabinet corners, the back of the pantry, or the drawer under the stove is not going to eliminate a large infestation on its own. I want to be honest about that, but as part of an overall deterrence approach, they are a practical, zero-risk addition. A bag of dried bay leaves costs almost nothing and lasts for months. Peppermint oil diluted in water and sprayed along baseboards is another option some folks find helpful. The research on this is less definitive than the research on diatomaceous earth and boric acid, but it carries no risk. And if it contributes even a small deterrent effect, there is no downside to using it. A few drops in a spray bottle of water, applied every week or two along the kitchen baseboards, that is all it takes. If you want to go further into the natural cleaning and pest deterrence methods than I can walk through in one video, the QR code is still in the top right corner of your screen. Open your camera app, point it at that code, and the guide lays out the pantry-based cleaning system in much more depth, including how to apply these kinds of ingredients across different problems in a systematic way. That is exactly what the guide is built for. Phase 5 is the ongoing maintenance routine, and this is where the Japanese cleaning philosophy really shows its strength. The Japanese concept at work here is called kaizen, continuous, incremental improvement. Applied to home cleaning, it means that rather than doing one massive clean every few months and then letting things slide, you build a series of very small daily and weekly habits that keep conditions permanently unfavorable for pests. Every night before bed, wipe down the stovetop, clear the sink, take out any food waste, and make sure no dishes are left soaking. That last one matters because cockroaches are drawn to the food residue on soaking dishes. Every week, wipe down the inside of the microwave, clean the stovetop drip pans if you use gas, and take a dry cloth to the top of the refrigerator, which accumulates a greasy film over time. Every week, wipe down the inside of the microwave, clean the stovetop drip pans if you use gas, and take a dry cloth to the top of the refrigerator, which accumulates a greasy film over time. Once a month, pull out the small appliances, the toaster, the coffee maker, the air fryer, and clean underneath them. The crumb tray of a toaster is one of those spots that gets forgotten for months at a time, and it is exactly the kind of food source that makes a kitchen attractive. Once a season, do the fuller pull and clean: refrigerator, stove, under sink cabinets. Check your caulk, check door sweeps. Freshen the diatomaceous earth in the back of cabinets. 15 minutes of seasonal maintenance prevents the hours of extreme cleaning that become necessary when the habits slip. I have watched folks do a thorough extreme clean, do everything right, and then let the maintenance go, and have the problem return within a few months. The clean is the reset. The maintenance is the protection. You need both. And here is one more thing I want to name plainly, because I think it matters. If you live in a multi-unit building, an apartment or a condo, your ability to control cockroaches is partly limited by what is happening in the units around you. In those situations, the sealing work becomes even more critical. Pay particular attention to the shared walls, where pipes and electrical conduit pass through, and to the gaps under and around your entry door. You cannot control what your neighbor does, but you can make your unit as inhospitable as possible, and the combination of sealing and deterrence still makes a significant difference even in shared buildings. For single-family homeowners, this full method, the total removal clean, the sealing, the moisture control, the deterrence, the maintenance routine, is genuinely all you need for the vast majority of cockroach situations. The cost is minimal: a few dollars of caulk, a bag of diatomaceous earth, some boric acid, bay leaves, and a few hours of focused work. Compare that to a professional pest control contract running well over $100 a visit, and the math speaks for itself. There is no secret formula being withheld here. The pest control industry does not profit when you solve this problem yourself with pantry ingredients and an afternoon of careful work. Before the final word, The guide pulls all of this together in one place, along with the broader Japanese cleaning approach I keep coming back to, working smarter with ingredients you already have, building habits that prevent problems instead of chasing them. Open the camera app on your phone, point it at the QR code in the top right corner of your screen, it is still there, and you will have the full guide. It covers the cleaning mindset, the core pantry ingredients that handle most household problems, stain fixes, and more. If this video was useful, that guide is the natural next step. So here is where we land. A cockroach problem is not a judgment about how you keep your home. It is a conditions problem, and conditions can be changed. You now have the full picture: what cockroaches need to survive, where the real work gets done, and how to maintain a home that stays clear over the long term. This week, start with the kitchen, the under-sink cabinet, behind the stove, under the refrigerator. Seal any gaps you find around pipes. Next month, do the full seasonal pull and clean and lay in the diatomaceous earth. Going forward, the maintenance habits become automatic. If this has been useful, I would love to hear from you in the comments. Have you dealt with this in your own home? Did a family member have a method they swore by? I read every comment, and I genuinely learn from what folks share down there. And if you want to see how the same Japanese cleaning philosophy applies to another stubborn household problem, the next video walks through a cleaning method for drains that I think will surprise you. It is one of those things where the simple, old approach turns out to be better than anything in a bottle. If this channel has been useful to you, subscribing is the best way to make sure you do not miss what comes next. I am glad you are here.